sis and tell. A whole lot of talk, about a whole lot of nothing. Amanda does stand up, Alison's on TV, and when they hop on the phone, it's the place you wanna be. Sis and tell.
Hey, Allie.
Hey, man, what's going on?
What's going on? You know, same old Groundhog Day. Waking up, going. I'm
Working
like
from home in isolation. I see 4 people.
I kind of feel like what's his name? Tom Hanks. Oh my God, what is that iconic movie? Forrest Gump.
Right.
You know that Forrest Gump scene where he just starts like running across the world?
Well, he starts off. He goes off for a jog, right? And then he goes down his driveway, and then he turns. He goes down the street, and then he just never stops. Yeah.
That's how my walks are. I just keep on walking. I can't tell you how
By
many
yourself?
miles. With my husband usually, but sometimes by myself. But we go on these night walks, and I'll turn to him and I go, that wasn't enough. I need to keep going. And I walked 8 miles yesterday.
Come on.
But that's normal. I just can't stop.
Did you have to call somebody to come pick you up? Or was it 8
No.
miles round trip? You came back.
Round trip. It wasn't all right. It wasn't all last night, but it was all throughout the day. But I just can't stop walking. I just can't. And you might be listening to our podcast and walking right now.
Well, I've been running, so I was an Orange Theory. I still am an Orange Theory fanatic. I just haven't been in an Orange Theory studio since early March. I think March 13th, not that I'm counting, was my last in-studio class. And our studios have opened up. I just haven't felt comfortable yet going back. They're doing a great job of keeping it as safe as possible, but it's a personal choice that everybody has to make. So I started running. It's the same thing as that Forrest Gump. I started running. Now I have to run. And if I don't run, there's just something wrong. It doesn't feel healthy. So one of my Orange Theory friends, we've been running. She's listening to this going, another shout out. It's like, I only see 4 people. So Jalen, don't get so excited. This is
No, every podcast, I think you've been giving shout outs to
my workout
running
people. Yes.
Your running friends.
Well,
Yeah.
The funny thing is we've now been meeting on our river walk, which is this awesome just pathway that people walk and run and stroll and bike all along the Tennessee River, which cuts through our city. So by default, all of these people we see have become our new class.
It's like your new neighbors.
It
like
is
you
our
like
new community.
wave, hey.
Oh, yeah. And we see the exact same people, almost the
Right.
exact same people
It's
every
like-
morning.
It's like we're stuck in the Truman Show. That's another movie that I'm like, cue the Jewish couple walking, right? That's what it's like. Like you're like, we see the same people, the same cars, the guys like mowing his lawn at the same time, the people walking their dogs.
It is, including this group of like 5 older men who I call the Romeos. You know what Romeo, that acronym?
No. What does it stand for?
It stands for Retired Old Men Eating Out. And there's
Never heard
Romeos.
that.
So if you are a Romeo and you're listening to this, then I don't know if we have any Romeos
I don't think
listening.
the Romeos are listening to our podcast. Let's
Right. But that
understand our
I don't know if you remember, like our grandpas, grandpa and I think papa at some point, that was, when you get older and you can no longer really sleep through the night, which is slowly becoming my problem, they would meet at traditionally like our grandparents would meet their friends at like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. whenever McDonald's or Hardee's or one of those fast food restaurants open, and they'd sit and have probably a cup of coffee, possibly like some sort of biscuit. I'm not sure if they splurged on the biscuit, and they would sit for hours, right? Just talking.
Sounds very European.
Yeah. Well, these guys, they're adorable. They bring their lawn chairs, their little folding chairs, and they sit out at the exact same spot every time. And Gillette and I, my friend and I joke that we're going to just stop and like have coffee with them and one day like really like hang out. We've never quite done it. We haven't gotten past the good morning, have a great day. So.
Well, there are these older gentlemen on my street who play cards in another guy's garage. They just open up the garage. They have their card table. There's couches in there, and they're always playing. And I'm like dying to go hang out with them, but I don't think they would know. They always do whatever. I don't think they would know what to do. Every time I walk by, they're like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Hey." Last year, I brought them some figs while they had their card game because we've got this massive fig bush that's now a fig tree, a fig mountain in our yard.
Well, where we run, you would be petrified. I know you're afraid of bugs, so this would scare you to death. These aren't bugs. They are giant birds that hang out.
Swoop.
Not just swoop. They don't swoop by us necessarily, but when I tell you, I'm not exaggerating. Like, they're these blue herons, I think, and then I think they are like turkey hawks, like some sort of black giant ugly bird with a wingspan of like a pterodactyl. These things are humongous, and they're in like gaggles. Like,
are they territorial?
No, but they're flying all over. It's because we start running right near the dam, and there's a ton of fishing boats and fisher people who are all there, either like waiting. Fisher people. I'm trying to be, politically correct.
Anglers,
gender neutral.
Anglers. You can just call them anglers,
what are
right?
Anglers.
That's a fisherman.
Oh, okay.
Fisher person.
They're fisher people. Fisher people sounds like the little people you collect when you're in preschool, right?
It does. Fisher Price.
Fisher Price, yeah. So anyway, but there's like dozens of them. And so the other day we were running, and one was just sitting like right on the rail as we were going to run by. And I'm like, I'm not going near that bird. She's like, I'm not going near that bird. And all of a sudden we heard bikers coming, like the cling, 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 cling. So they're like, pardon us. We're like, no problem. So we just stopped, and I go, please scare the bird. Please ride by and scare the bird. So they rode by, the bird flew off, and then we kept running. But they're scary. Yeah. They are scary.
I have a slight fear of birds, of swans. Do you know this story?
Is this from Indian Springs?
Yes. Have I told this story before?
No, but Indian Springs. So this is where I went to high school, and you went for a few years.
Don't tell. Okay.
I'm not telling your story. I haven't heard your story, but it is known for swan stories. So of course, when you say swans in a story, it had to be Indian Springs.
Yeah, well, I was like 8, and I was with Julie, your friend's little sister, who was my friend who I'd grown up with. I think y'all had some event going on. Julie and I got bored. We wandered down to the pond, right? It's a lake. It's not a pond. The lake, it is. It's big. It's a lake. Okay, so we wandered down to the lake. There are these 2 swans. We had bread with us. We started feeding them. We ran out of bread, so we started to walk away, and one of the swans started following me, like waddling. So at first we thought it was funny, and then it started waddling faster. So I started waddling faster because, let's be real, I was not a runner or a brisk walker. Then nothing motivated me more. You joke about I don't only run when chased. Right. I only run when chased by a swan, because I started walking. It started walking. I started walking faster. Julie and I booked it out of there. The swan flew after me. It started flying. It landed on my shoulder and started pecking at me. No, it did not. It did.
Okay, this is where I'm going to say there's no way. There's no way the swan landed on your shoulder.
It did.
Come on.
Or it was like flying like head. It was, I'm telling you, it was either flying right with me as I was running, or it was, I swear to God, that thing was on my shoulder like a parrot on a pirate, except it was a swan, and it wasn't talking, it was pecking, and it was trying to murder me because I ran out of white bread. Yeah. So there.
I believe that part, because the swans have been known to be very aggressive out there. Very aggressive.
Mean.
So
they're so mean. Yeah. And, I think last year I saw some article from someone from Spring saying that one of the swans had died, and I forwarded it to Julie, and I said it had it coming. I can neither confirm nor deny I'm responsible for that swan's death. Oh,
yeah,
man.
It's like these beautiful beings. They're almost mystical, right? It's almost like having a unicorn in your backyard. Like, when do you see swans? Like, swans they're not, like, I see a lot of geese in Tennessee. I see a lot of these turkey hawks, or whatever you call them, these herons, and I just call them all pterodactyls. They're all so giant. But it's not like there are wild swans. So at Springs, it really is, and there's always like 1 or 2 that have been in the lake for decades. Not the same 2 swans, mind you, but it is. They're almost magical and mystical in nature until you hear the story of them being aggressive and attack swans. Yeah. And then they are beautiful from afar. Don't get too close, and don't feed the swans. That's a very important lesson.
I didn't know that. There was no sign, and I'm already afraid of like bugs getting stuck in my hair. I wasn't expecting a swan to get stuck in my hair. So that was scary. And people at Indian Springs, like people would bring dogs onto campus and walk around barefoot. It was just, it was like
paradise.
I was going to say Lord of the Flies.
I said we could go swimming. People don't believe me, but it's a small school right outside of Birmingham, 30 minutes outside of Birmingham. It's got all this acreage, a small student body of just about, I think now it's up to almost 300, but 8th through 12th grade. And it was really a pick your battle school, right? They didn't care about the minutia. They cared that you were respectful and honorable, but they didn't care if you wore shoes to class, right? Like I could wear flip-flops, a bathing suit. Yeah.
After falling in the lake.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we had free periods. So we'd go down the lake. Sometimes if it was a hot day, you'd swim. Then you'd like run to class and maybe you skipped lunch. So you brought in a bag of chips and a Diet Coke or something. And nobody cared. Right. It just wasn't. And maybe they care today. I don't know. I just feel like it still embodies that sort of grace that they give to students to be their best selves, whatever that looks like, but to not let what they're wearing or what they're eating or drinking distract from the academic atmosphere. And as long as they could maintain that, then so be it.
So we were talking earlier in the podcast about me doing all this walking. One of the places I walked yesterday was my friend Sarah's, because there was a big virtual Zoom of what classes are going to look like virtually for our middle school, for our twins. So I went there and we sat outside and watched the video together because it was more fun. They have these two dogs and they're crazy, and they had like destroyed some sort of piece of wood furniture that they were chewing everywhere, which led us to this discussion of dog treats and what the best dog treats are for dogs who chew. Because Kabu is our lab, and she eats everything. She even eats the figs off the tree. Like literally, she'll go pick a fig and eat it.
She's smart. That's
She's
delicious.
So smart. But I bought her this like stuffy, and she had ripped it apart to the point where it was going to like murder her, right? Like the squeaky toy, she was going to choke on it. The fuzzies inside, she was going to get like caught in her intestines. So I said, what's a good chewy? And they said a bully stick. And then I started to break down what a bully stick is.
Oh,
do you know what a bully stick is?
I do know what a bully stick is. I don't think you want to go there. It's disgusting.
It's like the weirdest. It is the weirdest thing. So, you guys, if you don't know what a bully stick is, it's a dehydrated bull penis, and dogs chew on it. But I'm trying to like figure out the company or the person that invented this and like what was going on in the meeting when they were like pitching it, right? Like, and I think of automatically
right.
like a food dehydrator. Like I got a juicer when I was 15, and I juiced everything. Like I was looking for things that you can't even juice to juice it. Aaron, when he was 15, he got a food dehydrator, and he was like dehydrating everything. So I'm thinking of this guy who's got like a dehydrator. He's like, I know, we've run out of things. We've done the pig's ears. We've done we've done this, that, and the other. Now we've done the rawhide. Now we're going to move on to a bull penis. I mean, it's like a perfect shape. The dogs can chew on it, and that's what we're going to take to Shark Tank. This is how we're going to pitch. Like, at what point are you like, let's sell a bull penis as a dog chew toy? Men everywhere are crossing their legs, and they don't know why, right? It's like it's the craziest thing. Like what? That sounds like something that they would serve at a Jewish deli, right? Would you like the tongue sandwich? Or we've got a special. It's pickled.
All right, so I'm looking this up because I couldn't help but like wonder what I agree. Like, who decided? I think about things like that, right? On the same lines. Who decided that was a good idea, right? Like, how in the world could that tell? So first of all, when I Google bully stick, I get bullying and a bunch of anti-bullying websites. So that's good. That's good to know that was the top thing. But the National Kennel Association highly recommends, or the association, is that it? Whatever this is. American Kennel Club. So sorry, I misnomer.
The AKC.
The AKC says why bully sticks are great dog treats. So...
And deer antlers. How messed up is that?
Well, the funniest is the PR group that was, engaged to sell these things, right? Bully sticks are a single ingredient, easily digestible chew treat. Ready? Made from beef muscle. I'm like, wow, okay. And here's another good plus. Unlike other treats, bully sticks won't splinter, and they even help clean your dog's teeth.
That's so gross.
I mean, here's the obvious one. Ready? Bully sticks come in a variety of sizes and shapes to satisfy chewers of all inclinations.
Oh,
this is
man.
almost like a dog porno site. I mean, seriously.
Replace all that with bull penis and then redo the marketing.
I mean, that's what it is. They managed to not say the word bull penis through that whole thing.
I mean, it's just gross. But doesn't it sound like something that would be served at the Second Avenue Deli?
Oh, God, this is disgusting. Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, keep going. Our listeners need to know.
So now I'm on a Labrador training site, and they get to the meat of it. No pun intended. So the fact is, they say, bully sticks are made from bull penises. Okay? If anybody faint of heart, you can go ahead and turn us off now. Yes, we have gone down a deep, dark path. So it goes on to say, although this may sound less than appetizing to us, the popularity of this treat is rapidly increasing in the canine world. This is why they're such a good Shark Tank product. Manufacturing doesn't include much preparation, with the key step being to simply drain any fluid from the bully stick and then shape them and package them for their target audience. Why is there a specific shape for their target audience?
Don't you just dehydrate it and then shrink wrap it and there you go? Right?
Yeah.
Like, what does it mean? It needs to be reshaped. And what were they doing with? Well, we just have to refer to this as bully sticks because I can't say bull penis anymore. So the bully sticks, before they were bully sticks, were they just throwing away the bull penises? And then someone's like, what can we do with these? Can we put them in sausage? And they're like, no. That's where we draw the line, Oscar Mayer. That's where we draw the line, right? That's a little too on the nose, but maybe we could sell it to a dog food company. Like how? Like it was really a coup. I mean, you would think that the beef industry, there's only so much innovation that they can do with all of the parts to a cow.
Yeah.
And now they're like, finally, someone came along. It was some like young 24-year-old who was like, all right, guys, I was brought in to reassess all the parts to see how we could repackage it. And I got it. The bull penis. It's a dog chew toy. Well, no, hear me out. And then they just went from there. So he's now president of that division.
Exactly. So this reminds me of a joke. Let me tell you the joke it reminds me of.
Yeah.
Okay. So I haven't told this joke in a long time. This is probably the reason why. It's probably a one-trick joke. So there's a guy and he's visiting Spain and he goes to eat at this fancy restaurant and he sees the table next to him and they're eating this like what looks like an elaborate meal. And he said, "Can I ask you what they're eating?" He said, "Yeah, those are actually bull testicles." He's like, "What?" He goes, "Well, as you know, bullfighting is a very popular sport throughout Spain. And so after the bull is killed, we make sure to honor his, life by serving up parts of it, in different ways." He didn't mention the bully stick, but he said, and part of it is serving testicles. It's a delicacy here. And so he's like, "Really?" And he goes, "Well, I'd love that." He goes, "Well, I'm sorry, sir. We've run out for the night, but if you come back next week, after the next fight, then we'll be happy to help you." So the guy comes back the next week and the plate comes and they do the big reveal and he looks down and it's like these minuscule little things on the plate and it has like none of the luster or grandeur that the other one had. And he calls the maitre d' over again. He goes, "What happened? This doesn't look anything like the plate I saw last week." And he goes, "Well, the bull doesn't always lose."
Oh, that's gross.
Maybe it was, sometimes the bull wins. You get the joke. Anyway, also disgusting. Now we've gotten into cannibalism, but
oh my God.
It all relates to, I guess, did this stem from, because why else would a bull die and then you start using his parts? Did this stem from bullfighting? I don't know.
No, it stemmed from them wanting to use leftover parts, but there had to be the first person.
There had to be the first person, right?
Right. And just want to ask you this. Have you ever tried a dog cookie before?
No.
But you've never taken a bite out of a dog cookie?
No.
Not even when you were little? And you're like, what does this taste like? Okay. So, well, I did.
Well, and today, look, the dog biscuits or
Add
dog
that to
cookies.
the bag.
Right, the dog cookies from the 1970s, let's be clear, are not the dog cookies today. Today, the dog cookies today are probably better than the cookies we feed our children. All natural and organic and made from real ingredients, and you probably bake them in your oven. The dog cookie you ate was legitimately a dog cookie.
It was not good, but legitimately, there's got to be someone who is like, I'm just going to taste this bully stick to see what all the hubbub is about. Don't you? There's got to be at least one person in the world who has put a bully stick in their mouth and chewed on it and be like, oh.
I'm going down a very dark path now in my head because
beef jerky, or it doesn't taste like beef jerky. But speaking of like the gourmet dog cookies, there's this adorable little market, like a little bodega down the street from us called Oakhurst Market. And they have a jar of these cookies, and it's clearly marked peanut butter cookies with a little doggy face
did
on
you say
it.
peanut butter? That's cute. That's cute.
Peanut butter. And there was one of the cashiers, I talk to them all the time. I love them. They know all my kids because they used to go there all the time after school to get little treats. But this one guy started telling me the stories about a story about the peanut butter cookies, and said that this mom had been in earlier in the day and the kid wanted something, and she said, no, you're going to have such and such. And he said, Mommy, come on. I don't like those cookies. They just don't taste good. Can I get something else? And the cashier is like, ma'am, were you going to get him a peanut butter cookie? And she's like, well, yeah, every time we come in here, they look like the most nutritious thing. And because they do have like other homemade baked goods there, but like in another display. And evidently she had been giving him peanut cookies for like a month.
That is so mean.
Poor kid.
Poor kid.
Luckily, I think he was like young enough to not really be. He wasn't like 10, like, oh my God, my mom's been feeding me dog cookies.
Too young to be truly scarred. He would have forgotten it.
But you just got to be wary of the jars of things sitting in places, and whether they're for you or for a dog, right?
Be aware of dehydrated, misshaped items. That's all I'm saying. Not trusting them.
Right. So obviously I've gone a little cuckoo, right? Like overthinking things like bully sticks. I was going to transition to something else, but don't you think like the cows are like, really? Bully stick? It's more like a club. Really?
Okay. We got to stop talking about this.
I'm sorry. I can't. This is like, I could do like 10 minutes on this. Next time I'm on stage. This is going to be my next open mic. I'm going to talk about this for 10 minutes. But no, so obviously I think about weird things. And one of the weirdest things I think I've done is the kids were watching Moana, and I was looking at her island and thinking, that is a lovely place to visit. I want to go on vacation there. And then that became like a fun question. Like if you had to pick a fictional land to go visit a place, a world, where would you go? It has to be fictional, though, like Candyland or the Shire.
Right. Ooh, Candyland.
Yeah, when I was little, I used to want to go to Candyland, but it would just be so sticky.
I'd want to eat all my furniture, and then I'd be sick, and then where would I live?
Would get stuck on the peppermint patties.
Yeah.
But help, I'm stuck. Where go?
So this might sound strange. I'd like to go visit where Donkey Kong lives. Go climb some ladders, go seek some adventure, swing from some ropes, save some I don't know, dames in distress.
So you wouldn't be Donkey Kong, you'd be the guy who was like...
I'd be Mario, yes.
Is that Mario in Donkey Kong?
Of course it is, yeah.
It is? Are you sure?
It's a lookalike, if not. Yeah. I'm a big Donkey Kong fan. Right.
That is I can't believe, like, you pretty much went to that world immediately. Yeah. Like you've thought about this.
No, I haven't. When you said it, I just honestly said the first thing that came to mind, and it was the Donkey Kong world. Not that it would be fun. It would be adventurous. It'd be like the Costa Rica of virtual worlds, right? So it'd have to be like, it wouldn't be relaxing like Moana's island, clearly.
Okay. Unless you had access to, what was the hamburger video game, the arcade game? Would you have access to that one where you would have to like layer the hamburgers?
Oh, yeah, that's that's a horrible game. That game drives me crazy. You know, we have a multicade in my basement. So years ago, I went to the store to buy it. My goal was to buy a pinball machine, and I had done some research. But when I got there, I ended up not just buying a pinball machine because I got it for a lot less than I anticipated it would cost. But then I wanted a Miss Pac-Man machine because I love Miss Pac-Man. And they had the tabletops. The guy goes, well, you can either buy a Ms. Pac-Man machine, which is an original, and it's the one that you sit down, right, and you play against, which also gets a little old. I like
Mr.
it.
Gaddy's had that.
Oh,
Remember Mr.
yes,
Gaddy's?
Mr.
Yeah, that
Gaddy's.
pizza place.
Gosh, yes.
And they
all
had
of a
the
sudden.
rolly ball. My hand used to get stuck in it.
Yeah. So he said, you can either buy this original Ms. Pac-Man, or I've, kind of recreated these machines and done a 60cade where I've taken 60 of those games from the 70s and put them in one machine. And it's cheaper than the original Ms. Pac-Man, which I didn't care about an original. I just wanted to play the game. So, of course, I came home with the 60cade. So it's got everything. Space Invaders, Donkey Kong Jr., Pac-Man, Pac-Man Jr., Ms. Pac-Man, Super Pac-Man. I mean, I could just go on and on. Some of them, Centipede, Frogger, all those things. So I don't want to go to the Frogger land. That gives me anxiety. All the traffic and the alligators. It's like everything that makes me anxious is in Frogger.
Well, I feel the same way, but about Pac-Man. Pac-Man gives me great anxiety, and to top it off, they're ghosts, right?
Right.
So not only is that music is just so intense, and I need a Xanax before I play Pac-Man. It's just too much. The walls, the moving, the left, the right, the eating, the overeating. Now I'm being haunted by something that's trying to murder me. I would not want to live in Pac-Man.
Well, I live with all these men who are very athletic, so I've got to prove myself somehow. And it's either in Scrabble or Boggle or Donkey Kong and Ms. Pac-Man. Those are the two things I excel in when compared to the boys. So there's nothing like it. Like brings me back to like being at the mall in the 80s and going to Aladdin's Castle. Did you ever go to Aladdin's Castle with your wad of quarters?
We did. It was called Diamond Gems when I was at the mall.
All right.
We didn't have Aladdin's Castle.
We had Aladdin's
Diamond
Castle.
Gems.
That was at Brookwood Mall, and we'd go there or whatever. And like, if somebody was really good at a game, you sort of like you did like the hand. You kind of rested your elbow up on the top and you leaned in to watch, and then you kind of got a crowd around them. I was never that person. I was never the people gathered around. I was the one who gathered, right? I was a sucker for watching a good game. And that's what it's become today, right? Like when they play games or when people or kids watch Minecraft videos of other people doing something exceptionally well. They stole that from us. That happened.
Oh.
That happened way back when, but in real life.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're right. That's so crazy. That is exactly what's happening now.
Yeah.
It's so annoying because now my kids are not watching that stuff on their phones. They're watching it on the TV because now we have smart TVs. So I'm like, why am I watching a YouTube channel on a TV when you can go watch that on your phone?
Exactly. Yeah, it makes no sense. But have you ever watched them? Like when the boys were first into Minecraft when they were little, and we would hear them like listening to videos of grown men doing Minecraft. We're like, these are like, we would like try to rationalize with them. Finally, Alan goes, I don't understand the allure. I go, neither do I. So one night, like he brings his laptop to bed. He pulls up one of the YouTube videos, and it's like a British guy going, and now we are going to create the greatest house of all time. Let me show you how to start the basement.
And here comes the zombie or whatever they're called.
Okay,
here's my
45 minutes later, we're still watching the stupid thing,
man.
and all of a sudden we look at each other like, all right, I guess we get it. It does get to be a little mesmerizing, but I just
think if YouTube existed when I was 8, I would have been very famous. Right. I would have been. No, but so Jake Paul, do you know who that is? He's one of the most popular YouTubers. He just I don't know if he was getting arrested. His house got raided because he had all these guns.
What?
He makes $11 million a year. I don't know an actor.
Advertising?
Do you know an actor who makes $11 million a year?
Well, yeah. I don't know them personally, but there are actors who make a lot of money.
Right. But a YouTuber, it's not like you go to the Tisch school at NYU to become a professional YouTuber.
It might be a major. There are majors that I've never even conceived of that are now you can major in college. So who knows? But if YouTubing is a major, I'm telling my boys right now, they cannot. I'm not endorsing that.
Well, I'm not sure if we have a master's degree yet in podcasting, but we sure have a minor. I've been concentrating on this podcast for a bit, and now we're concentrating on you fans. We would love to see you talk about us, right? Brett comes back to us. So share us with your friends. Go text your mom, go text your college roommate and say, hey, you should check out this podcast because these girls need attention, specifically the youngest one, Amanda. Don't forget to share Sis and Tell.
As always, this has been Amanda and Alison with a whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. We'll catch you next time.